Right now, somewhere, a pair of scissors is closing in on a plant. The plant can't see it coming. It has no eyes, no ears, no brain. It can't run, it can't flinch, it can't scream. And yet, the second those blades touch it, that plant is going to do something. Not nothing, something. It's going to fire off signals, flood itself with chemicals, and release a sound you are physically incapable of hearing. So here's the question that's going to sit with you for the rest of the day. Does any of that mean it knows? Do plants know when you're about to cut them? The honest answer is stranger than yes, and it's stranger than no. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll never look at your garden the same way again. Let's get the comforting part out of the way first, because you're going to need it. A plant does not feel pain, not the way you do. This is where the scientists actually agree. Plants have no brain, no nervous system, none of the special pain sensors, the nociceptors that animals use to turn damage into the feeling of ow. So you can stop apologizing to your salad. When you bite an apple, mow the lawn, or trim a hedge, you are not committing some quiet act of torture. There's no little green mind in there suffering. Whatever is happening, it is not pain as you know it. Good. Hold on to that comfort, because here's the problem. They don't feel pain is only half the story, and it's the boring half. The other half is the reason scientists are still arguing about what plants actually are, because not feeling pain is not the same as not knowing you're there. Start with the most unsettling discovery of all. Researchers at the University of Missouri did something simple. They recorded the tiny vibrations a caterpillar makes while chewing a leaf, and then played just that vibration to a plant that wasn't being eaten at all. No bug, just the sound of munching, and the plant reacted. It started pumping out defensive chemicals, the same ones it uses to fight off being eaten. The plant heard the threat and armed itself for an attack that wasn't even happening. Now here's the part that should raise the hair on your neck. They tested whether the plant would overreact to any vibration. Wind, other harmless sounds. It didn't. The plant could tell the difference between the wind brushing its leaves and the specific vibration of something biting it. Sit with that. The plant on your windowsill can, in a sense, tell the wind from teeth. So the moment you actually make contact with that plant, your hand closing on a stem, the blades pressing in, it registers it. Plants genuinely sense touch and vibration. That machinery is real, and it's switched on. The plant can't think, here comes a human with scissors. It has no idea what you are. But the instant the attack lands, it detects it, and the response begins before you've even finished the cut. Now the famous one, the one you've probably half heard a creepy version of. In 2023, scientists at Tel Aviv University put plants in a soundproof chamber, surrounded them with ultrasonic microphones, and then stressed them. They cut some stems. They let others go thirsty. And then they listened. The plants were making sounds, rapid little pops and clicks like bubble wrap, at a volume comparable to human conversation, but pitched so high that your ears simply can't pick it up. And here's the kicker. A stressed plant, a cut or dehydrated one, made far more of these sounds than a healthy one. Their machine could even tell, just from the noise, whether a plant was thirsty or wounded. Now, I have to be honest with you, because this is where the internet lost its mind. Headlines screamed that plants scream. That's not quite it. The scientists think these pops are most likely physical, tiny air bubbles snapping inside the plant's water channels as it dries out or gets damaged. It's not a cry. There's no intent behind it, but don't let that ruin it for you, because the eerie fact stands. When you cut a plant, it makes a sound, a real, recordable sound, carrying real information about its condition. And there are insects and animals out there that can hear it, which means a quiet garden isn't quiet at all. Stand in a dry field on a hot day, and to the right set of ears, the whole place is popping with distress. You just got lucky enough to be deaf to it. And it doesn't stop at one plant. When a leaf is wounded, the plant sends an electrical signal racing through itself, leaf to leaf, measurable, fast, telling the rest of its body to brace and start repairs. It's not a nervous system, but it rhymes with one in a way that makes biologists deeply uncomfortable. Then it goes further. A damaged plant releases chemicals into the air, an invisible cloud of warning, and the plants nearby detect it, and they respond. They start ramping up their own defenses, preloading their chemical weapons before anything has even touched them. So picture what actually happens when you cut one plant in a garden. It signals through its own body. It releases an airborne alarm, and the plants around it quietly receive the message, danger, here, now, and begin to prepare. You thought you were trimming one plant. In a way, you alerted the whole bed. So, do they know? Here's the truth, and it's going to be more unsettling than a simple yes. No, they don't know the way you know. There's no fear in there, no dread, no awareness watching the scissors and bracing for the end. The terror you'd feel is yours, not theirs. They are not suffering. That part is real, and you can keep it. But everything else, they detect, they distinguish, they signal, they warn, they defend. They react to what you do to them, your touch, the cut itself, the damage, with a precision that looks, from the outside, an awful lot like awareness. And that's the trap our brains fall into. We assume there are only two options. Either a thing is conscious like us, or it's a dead object. Plants are neither. They're a third thing, something alive that senses its world, responds to threats, and fights to survive, with no brain, no feelings, and no need for either. Not a screaming victim, not an inert green thing, something in between that we don't even have a proper word for. So the next time you reach for that plant, go ahead. It won't feel a thing. But understand what's actually happening in that silent moment. The instant you cut it, it registers the damage. It's already responding, and it's quietly telling everything around it that something just attacked. It just isn't afraid of you. And honestly, that's so much stranger than if it were. We spend so much time wondering whether plants feel like us, and we miss the bigger, weirder truth sitting right in the flower pot. There's a whole way of being alive on this planet that doesn't think, doesn't feel, doesn't fear, and still senses, signals, and survives all around us every second, completely silent to our ears. You're surrounded by it right now. If that rearranged something in your head a little, subscribe. Next time, we're cracking open another quiet thing about the living world that turns out to be far stranger than it looks. See you in the next one.